research communities that are actually behind this event. Okay? So now it's time to tell you a little bit about the conference, and I will begin with a summary of past editions. This conference series started in 2005, and in this case it was only an online conference, an online meeting, but just this year we had the opportunity to have an online speech from Tom Gruber, which is one of the most influential persons, according to number of citations of his papers, in the field of ontologies. After that, we planned to make the event biannual, because in that moment, in 2005, maybe the research community was not so active in this field, was not so big. And then we did a very good conference in Corfu, organized by our dear colleagues of the Ionian University in the Department of Library and Information Science. That year we moved to publishing the proceedings in a Springer book, still not in the collection that you can see in the book you have in your hands. After that, we have the opportunity to host the 2009 edition at Milano Bicocca University, organized by my good colleague Fabio Sartori. And in this year we moved to the Springer Computing and Information System Conference Series. And we have continued with the Springer since then, because it's a good medium to publish proceedings of this kind of conferences. This year also we decided to move the event and make it annual instead of biannual, just because there was much more movement in this area, and we felt that there was a need of a yearly meeting of the research communities behind. And now we are in 2011 edition, and it's a great pleasure just to be here. And I sincerely think that this is very much improving past conference in terms of the scientific content of the conference, but also in terms of the excellent organization I have never seen in past edition, to be honest. So this is about the shortest history of the conference, and I couldn't resist to put a fragment of LDF in this slide. Probably for those of you that doesn't come from computer science, probably you cannot really read this kind of markup there. But this is just to explain you that when we started in 2004 thinking on having this series of events, maybe metadata and semantics were two things that were just starting to begin joining together. So there was a good tradition of people coming from artificial intelligence, basically working in the field of formal ontology, later become researchers in semantic web. And then there was another stream of our communities of people coming more from the side of information sciences. And in this community, metadata was the key thing. This was many years ago, but up to now, both things are really mixed. And we can say that the original vision of the conference is now a reality. Because what in 2004 was something, let's say, pertaining to basic research, it is today something regularly used by many projects. For example, what you have there is a mixture of, let's say, formal language called RDF, of the best practice for metadata communities, basically coming from information science, together with other schemas that are coming more from computer science. This is probably not understandable to some of you, but anyway, it's expressing the essence of the conference in some sense. So, there are today many conferences, but I would try to tell you why MTSR is a little bit different than others. And the first thing is that from the beginning we tried to gather together a truly multidisciplinary audience, so that here a computer scientist and a librarian can be comfortable together and can discuss together, speaking about the same things from different angles. Okay? And also, another thing is that as you will see, it is reflected in the thematic tracks. We are emphasizing discipline-specific research and technology development, so that researchers from fields other than computer science or library science can also be comfortable here. For example, people coming from environmental issues that are in some kind of LTD project involving metadata in environmental topics, they could also come here and share with the rest of the community. We think that this is something that really enriches the contents of the conference instead of being very discipline related and being only for librarians or only for computer scientists. Also, we have tried to emphasize the reporting of, in our case, now it's, let's say that the scope of most of the participants are in a European level, so we have emphasized that the projects that are being funded and are related to this area, that are many of them in the different calls of the European Union, come and present results here. So among the public, you can find some people around that are coordinators of European projects right now, or that are participating in some of them. Actually, and thanks to the hospitality of Yaşar University again, from Monday we have been having a project meeting of OAR, which is funded under the ICT PSP project, program of the European Union for 3 days. So this is a logical continuation of this effort, and you can find partner representatives of this project among the public also. And finally, this is basically a conference organized by academics, not by a professional organization. So this is why each year the local organizers are taking all the work. And I want to highlight this because in some other conferences there is some kind of centralized organization for all the financial and organizational stuff, but here it is all the merit of the local organizer, okay? So, because we are only dealing, let's say, with the selection, the scientific criteria for the selection of the paper and the selection of the committee. So all the merit comes from, in this case, to the local organization. Just to summarize a little bit on the outcomes of the conference this year, here you have the overall numbers of this Springer book. We have 36 full papers across several tracks or general tracks in many, many different topics. And we have also 16 papers accepted in other categories, either short papers or project report papers. In the conference we have also 4 very high quality keynote speakers, and it is a pleasure to have them here to share their advances with us in this place, and also do very, very interesting tutorials in hot topics related to web science. And I hope that you have the opportunity to learn from Nikolaos Kofiatis and from Hannes Ebner on the, let's say, some of the key technologies or the key research topics that are now part of this academic community. Okay, and then we have this collocation, this event of the Board project collocation. So this is summarized, it's more or less the numbers. Also, I have to tell you that from some years we have been having the collaboration of 2 academic journals. The first is the International Journal of Metadata, Semantics and Ontologies, published by Science. This is currently indexed in Scopus, and its impact factor has rise to 1.2 or something in the Scopus index. And it is, let's say, a journal that is basically covering the same topics as the conference, so it's something like a companion to the conference. And recently, the second sponsoring journal is Program from Emerald, that is a journal with a long tradition. Accidentally, this has happened when I become the editor-in-chief of this journal, but this represents also a change in the direction of the journal, because when I was being selected, in the process of selection for the new editor-in-chief, this journal came from a background in library science, and what I propose is basically reorienting to something that is more comprehensive. Just as an example, we have a just accepted paper that will come to light, I don't know, in March or something, as an accepted paper in program, and it is a paper reporting on one of the systems of linked data in the DBpedia. And I think this is, let's say, an important turning point in the direction of the journal towards some more comprehensive way. That is the view of this conference. Okay. So, I will end this short presentation by giving thanks again. Okay. Thanks again to Yaşar University, to the authorities, to all the people and the students that are helping so much for making this event a reality, to all the sponsoring organizations, to the track organizers, because they have undertook part of the hard work of reviewing the papers, selecting and communicating with the authors. Of course, to the members of the program committee and the organization committee, and also to all the participants that have come here to share with us. Thank you very much, and I hope that you enjoy the scientific content of the conference and this great venue here in Izmir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Sicilia. Dear guests, now I would like to